Hey guys, in this video, we're gonna jump all the way back to January of 2018. That was my very first month after being accepted into the Merch by Amazon print-on-demand program. Here it is in 2023, 6 years later, and I'm still selling on Merch by Amazon, and I've learned a lot of lessons on the way. But I want to go back to that first year because I know there's a lot of you out there that are new to Merch by Amazon. You just got accepted. Maybe you're in the lower tiers, or maybe you're even stuck at a tier. You just can't break through to that next level. I want to share with you my journey. And before we jump on the computer to look at some of the data, I want to just tell you up front that this is just my story. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. And it certainly doesn't mean that it has to be your story. This is not a video to boast or to brag or to even compare. It's just to give you some perspective that I understand as a print-on-demand seller and Merch by Amazon seller that it's challenging and it's tough. Those first few months or even first year on the platform can really be tough, but if you stick with it, I promise there's gold at the end of the rainbow. You just have to continue to stay consistent and continue to learn from your mistakes. So we'll jump on the computer here and I want to show you exactly kind of month by month, give you some data and some metrics on what worked for me and what didn't, some of the struggles and strategies that I implemented, and my final numbers. I really think that it's gonna give you guys some perspective. But again, please don't take this as a blueprint or a comparison. Everybody's story is different. Some people have full-time jobs or have kids, they have life challenges and struggles, and the only person that you should be comparing yourself to is yourself. Are you better than yesterday? Are you learning from your mistakes? If you continue to keep that perspective and not give up, you'll find success with print on demand. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to share 3 of my biggest takeaways from my first year selling on Merch by Amazon. All right, so let's jump on the computer. All right, so here we are on the Pretty Merch Pro dashboard. This is the dashboard I like to use whenever I'm looking at my sales history and Merch by Amazon analytics. It's just really well laid out. So this is going to be just very informal. I'm going to go through my first year on the Merch by Amazon platform. You can see here I have the dates selected, January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. It's my very first full year on the platform. So I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of the important months here and milestones to kind of show my journey. Again, this is very informal. Everybody's journey is going to be different. This is really just to show you guys how it went for me, and maybe it'll resonate with some of you. Maybe it'll encourage some of you or motivate some of you, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have in the comments. So January was my very first month, and if we look at these numbers here, this is how many shirts I sold in each month. So we'll start off with January. That's typically a slow month with print on demand, but remember when I first started this, I had no print on demand experience. I came from Amazon FBA. I didn't even have graphic design experience. So I actually outsourced my first designs. I bought some cheap gig off of Fiverr and threw some designs up. After a week or two, I hadn't sold anything. And I got impatient, and after doing some research and reading, somebody recommended buy your own designs in order to tier up. So that's what I did. So these 11 sales, we can take a closer look here. These 11 sales during the month of January, 10 of them were bought by me. I bought my own designs to just try and tier up, try and tell the Merch by Amazon system, hey, I'm making some sales. I just threw some stuff up, not really knowing what was going to happen, but I did have the concept that the quicker I can tier up, the more I can experiment. And the more I can experiment and put out designs, I can figure out what works. So that was my main goal. So I bought my first 10 designs. I don't think I tiered up in this first month. I think I was still tier 10. But those 10 shirts cost me over $100, right? I think $130 or $140. And I made $18.40 in royalties. So I'm already in the hole. Plus, I paid a graphic designer to make my design. So I was probably in the hole 150, maybe 200 bucks right out of the gate. Okay, so let's jump to month 2. Month 2 here, look at this. I sold a whopping 2 shirts, okay, for the entire month. So I buy my first 10 designs and I think, okay, I'm gonna get some traffic and some sales in the whole month of February, and I got 2 sales. Okay, so let's jump into March. Okay, so here's March, and I sold 11 shirts. Now, sometime around this point is when I tiered up to tier 25. It was either in the end of February or beginning of March. I tiered up to tier 25. So now I could put out 25 different designs. That's my first 3 months in the program, and I sold about 13 shirts, 13 or 14 shirts, and made a total of maybe about 50 bucks, but I had already spent about 200 on the designs and on buying my own shirts. So my first 3 months were incredibly slow. Sometime around April, I started to get a couple more organic sales. This one here, I got 14 sales on. I don't exactly remember which design it was, but that was a big one for me. I think it might have been something that has to do with maybe Father's Day. I'm not sure. You can see I'm selling these for very cheap. I made 83 cents a shirt. I made less money in April, in my 4th month, than I had in almost the 3 months prior to that. I'm just trying to get sales and understand what works. I knew that the money would come down the road. My priority was simply testing, because I got to figure out, what do these customers want? Which shirts am I designing? Am I getting clicks on? There's a sale. Which shirts am I getting repeat buys on? What colors are trending? All of these things. I am totally new. I had no idea. I'm just sort of putting some stuff up. Now, I will say around this time is when I tiered up into tier 100 sometime around here in May. So in May was another good month for me. This is now my 5th full month on the program, and I did 22 sales for $48. Again, look at my price royalty per sale, $2.22. That's pretty low. That's below average for the Merch by Amazon platform. Fast forward to June 18, and this is a big one where I actually got some pretty good sales. So let's take a closer look here. In June, I got 143 sales, 1 return for $474. Okay, at this time, I'm working a full-time job. This is something that I did, in my free time when I got home in the evenings after work. And to make an extra $474 in a month was just mind-blowing to me. I mean, I was just floored by the fact that A, that this happened, and B, that there was this opportunity that was free to apply. It didn't even cost me anything to list on this marketplace, and I'm gonna get a check at the end of the month for $474. I mean, it was huge, and this is when the light bulb kind of went off, where I went, wow, I've got to really dive into this, because I was able to make basically an extra $500 in month 6, and I know that's above average compared to what most people are used to, but it really just opened my eyes into the power of this platform. Okay, so that's my first 6 months. So months 1 through 5 were incredibly slow. Month 6, I get a nice jump, which really kind of lit a fire under me to dive into this deeper. So July, August, and September, I continued to try and make sales. Again, testing different things. I'm starting to see some more consistent sales. 84 sales in July, 11 returns, $200. So I dropped back down in July. August, 139 sales, 8 returns for $329. Dropped back down again from June. So July and August are now back down. September, even though I sold more shirts in September, I was getting returns, and I still only made $371. So now I'm at month 8 into my journey, and my peak month was back in month 6 in June, and I'm thinking, man, what is it, where's the next break gonna happen? And then Q4 starts knocking on the door. So September, I get that jump to 164 sales. October, I jump to 366 sales for $972, and then November, I actually broke $1,000. So that's a big milestone, is your first $1,000 month with print on demand. And if you do the math, from January to November, it took me 11 months to break $1,000 on the program. A lot of people give up before that. A lot of people give up too soon. A lot of people throw in the towel too soon, or they just throw some stuff up and turn away. Please understand, I was on this program like every day, right? Researching, testing, every night after work, I'm getting on there and trying to think of new ways to create designs and different trends, and looking at, pricing strategies and all these different things. So this is 11 months of very consistent and steady work, logging into the platform, trying different things. And then in December, which is the golden month for print on demand sellers, right? This is the month that we all, dream about each year. I actually did over 1,000 sales and just did a little over $4,000, which is a big deal. I mean, I'm not discounting that at all. I had some really successful products. My results may or may not be typical. I'm not really sure, but I know for me, this was huge. I mean, I thought, wow, 1 year into this, and I just made $4,000 in December. At this point, I think I was in tier 1,000 or maybe even 2,000, because during this stretch of time here from, say, August, September, October, November, I had increasing sales for 5 consecutive months from August through December. And anytime that I think the algorithm sees you getting increasing sales, you're listing more products, you're having success on the platform, it's gonna tier you up. And I think the Merch by Amazon program, it was quite new back then, it's fairly new, and they tiered up more generously than they typically do now. So for the year, I sold a total of 2,563 shirts, or products my first year for a total of $7,758. Most of this was standard shirts. 93% of my products sold were standard shirts. 5% of my products sold were long sleeve, 1% pop socket, 1% premium shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. But one other thing I want to show you, this is just a run of my total sales. I really don't have any single one product that like made my year or knocked it out the park. You'll see that sometimes with sellers, but my strategy has always been trying to find more evergreen content, trying to find some of these smaller hidden niches that kind of trickle in. And I started to really catch on to that towards the end of 2018. So you can see I had a couple here. This was my best selling shirt. It sold 247 times and made me $1,200. That's really, really good, but that's not like an on fire seller. That means it's selling less than once per day. And then I have a couple here that were still over 100. You can tell by the colors there, those are Christmas related, that those did really well for me. But then as you scroll down, you can see a lot of my other designs, 28 sales in an entire year. I wouldn't say that shirt is just on fire. That's literally like twice a month. And some of these, as you keep going down, look at this, 7 times, 10 times, 9 times. And I have a lot of shirts here, if you keep going, that only sold a few times throughout the year. But these things add up. So don't think that you have to knock it out of the park with some design that's going to make you rich. It's better to have a portfolio of scattered designs that are going to trickle in. It's that trickle in effect. Everything's going to kind of add up. And that's what all these are. Look at this, 2 sales, 2 sales, 2 sales for an entire year. This is the whole year. This shirt only sold twice. This one only sold 2 times. One time, right? But $5, $4, So you can see how this can all add up over time. Okay, so I know a lot of you after watching that are thinking, man, it was so much easier back then. In 2018, there was tons of niches. There wasn't any competition. Not everything was saturated. It was way easier to make sales. And you know what? You're right. It was a lot easier. But there's been some changes over the years that I think people aren't keeping in mind. Back in 2018 when I started, the only things you could sell were t-shirts, long sleeve, premium shirts, and maybe a couple other items. Since then, they've added in pop sockets and zip hoodies and tank tops, phone cases, pillowcases, tote bags, and they've expanded into multiple marketplaces. So when I first started, it was only the USA marketplace. Now you can sell in Germany, the UK, Italy, France, Spain, Japan. So yes, it was easier in a sense back then because there wasn't as much competition in the niches, but think about all the additional niches that have grown since then. Think about all the additional products that you can now sell your designs on. Think about all the marketplaces that you can now sell your designs on. And think about the overall demand and the amount of people that shop on Amazon. A lot more people go and buy products on Amazon in 2023 than they did back in 2018. So yes, in some senses, it was easier back then, but don't let that stop you from pursuing this opportunity, because as the competition has grown, so has the availability of products and marketplaces and slots and opportunities out there. You just have to kind of get your elbows in it, find some niches, and you'll find success. Okay, so if you've made it this far in the video, I have 3 takeaways that will apply no matter where you are on your Amazon journey. Number 1, don't get discouraged. It's really easy to constantly look at other people's numbers and compare yourself to other sellers, but that can be a really slippery slope. Instead, focus on what you can control in your story. Everybody has different priorities in life. Some people put a lot of time into things. Some people try and do things when they can because they're facing other challenges. Don't get discouraged by other people's success or failures. Number 2, stay consistent on the platform. In my opinion, I think you need to give Merch by Amazon 1 full year of effort to really determine whether or not it's the right online business or passive income business for you. When I say stay consistent, I mean consistent with your research, consistent with your designs, consistent with your keywords, and logging into the platform. Don't just throw up a bunch of designs and sit back and wait. You need to check on them, see, are they getting any sales? Take some down, put new ones up, try and improve, change the keywords, keep the design the same. You've got to constantly kind of test and evaluate and see what's working. And if you do that consistently, eventually you'll find success. My 3rd tip is to focus on one area at a time. It can be really overwhelming when I need to learn about ads and I need to learn about graphic design and I need to learn about this tool and I need to learn about this keyword strategy. Instead, maybe come up with a schedule that works for you. Whether that's maybe you do graphic design in the evenings or you do your your niche research on the weekends. You got to find out what works for you, your schedule, your personality type, and I firmly believe that picking one thing at a time and focusing on it, learning as much as you can before moving on to the next, you're going to absorb a lot more than if you jump around from topic to topic. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. If you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. I'd love to hear your feedback on this video. If you have some questions, tell me what I can do better. Tell me what you want to see videos about. Please drop a comment below. I wish you guys all the best of luck in 2023. I promise you, print on demand is still an amazing opportunity out there. You just got to put in the work and you'll make some money.